Hey, before you check out this video, maybe go check out the new Discord. It is in the description. Thank you, and let's get right into things.
Trump's businesses received millions from foreign entities during his presidency, House report says. This came to us from ABC News. Go.com is ABC. And this is from back in December. But, yeah, I think it's worth mentioning, especially, did you follow any of the Hunter Biden stuff that happened today?
No, I did not.
So there was a hearing to figure out whether or not they should hold him in contempt of Congress for not following or not cooperating with the subpoena. And he showed up to just sit in the audience and be like, hey, I am willing to testify now that you're televising everything. And I forget who it was, but one of the Democrat senators on the committee was like, hey, Republican people, he's right over there. He's willing to talk in front of us while it's being televised. How many of you want to actually hear from him? And like one of them raised their hand. So they all just flat out admitted, no, we don't actually want to hear about or hear from Hunter. We just want to have the sound bites.
We want the Hunter Biden's laptop thing.
It gets better than that, though, because when it was Marjorie Taylor Greene's time to speak, he stood up and walked out of the room, and all the cameras followed him, and they all went and interviewed him while Marjorie Taylor Greene was supposed to be speaking. It was amazing.
Jesus Christ. Can you... This is what happens when you start your career as the Jewish space laser lady. And you never move away from that in your career.
Nope, she has not amounted to anything. But yeah, anyway, so with regards to Hunter Biden, they're all talking about how, like, oh, he's funneling, like, he's taking payments from China, and they're enriching themselves from China. Never mind that there's zero evidence that Biden has introduced any legislation that would benefit China in any way. Like, I don't know, Trump actively did things that, like, we'll see in this article, there were some countries that should not, I mean, like Saudi Arabia. States probably shouldn't be friendly with Saudi Arabia. I get why they are, but they shouldn't be. They're basically a terrorist state. And Trump, immediately after they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars at one of his properties, decided, or he announced that Saudi Arabia would be the first country that he would visit as president. First time in American history that a president has visited Saudi Arabia as the first country since they took office, and it came right after they spent a bunch of money at one of his properties. So, like,
there's no corruption here. What are you talking about?
Meanwhile, there's zero evidence that Biden has passed any legislation or executive orders or anything specifically to benefit China, regardless of whether or not Hunter has been paid by Chinese companies. And it's like, it's not illegal for the son of the president to have a business in China. If it was, Donald Trump would be in trouble because what's-her-face got like $2 billion worth of patents in China while he was president.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. That's a whole other story.
It's so confusing to me, especially when you point out the beginning of the Hunter Biden thing, where he goes, hey, I'm here. If you want to talk with me, or you want to get my perspective on anything, you can do it, because I'm literally here for you to lambast if you want to. It's frustrating, because it means that no matter what, the Republican Party, their goal is just throw their political opponents under the rug, make themselves look better, make their opponents look bad, and sell that to their audience. And I use that term very deliberately, because it is a transaction.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're going to paint Hunter walking out on Marjorie Taylor Greene as though he was afraid of her. It's like, no, that was just blatant disrespect, because she was the one that brought pictures of his penis into Congress.
Look, if there's one thing the Republican Party knows already, Rhino, it's the size of Hunter Biden's balls.
Thanks to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Thanks to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, so understandably, he didn't want to hear from her. He didn't want to hear from the person that literally published uncensored pictures of his penis in Congress Anyway, Trump's business has received millions from foreign entities during his presidency, House report says. Former President Donald Trump's business received millions of dollars from foreign entities located in 20 different countries during his presidency, according to a new report. They show that governments including China and Saudi Arabia paid at least $7.8 million during his presidency to business entities that included Trump International Hotels in Washington and Las Vegas and Trump Towers in New York. And like, this is... I remember when, like, I learned the word emoluments when Trump was first elected, but before he took office, where they were all like, are you actually going to like stop running your businesses like you're supposed to as president? And everybody was like, oh yeah, no, he's gonna like hand over control of his business to other people, and then he never did. And like, in theory, other people were running them, but everything was still in his name. And then like, yeah, this was like the worst kept secret of his presidency, where everybody knew, like they could see that he was enriching himself by having people stay at his properties and whatnot. But
what's funny is
now
that
it's a matter of congressional report.
People have tried to say that actually, no, he lost a lot of money as president. Like, no,
yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, they try to say, oh, he donated his $400,000 a year paycheck as president to the government. It's like, okay, but he made at least $7.8 million per year, not per year, but like over the course of 4 years. It's like almost $2 million a year from having people stay at his properties because he's the president and they want to make him happy, so they'll stay at his properties. Now, Grant, I know that like them paying $7.8 million to use the hotels, I know that there's like overhead in running the hotels and whatnot, so this isn't $7.8 million of profit, but the point still stands. He profited from other governments wanting to, you know, entice him. And
they wanted to curry favor with the current United States president. That position does not come without some level of notoriety.
Yeah, so Representative Raskin wrote in the report, by elevating his personal financial interests and the policy priorities of the corrupt foreign powers over the American public interest, former President Trump violated both the clear commands of the Constitution and the careful precedent set and observed by every previous commander-in-chief. So yeah. He was the first president to not hand over his businesses while he was president, and he made a bunch of money from it. So yeah, Saudi Arabia likely paid Trump-owned businesses at least $615,422 during Trump's first term in office. And while the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is making these payments, President Trump chose Saudi Arabia as the destination of his first overseas trip, a choice that was unprecedented among U.S. presidents. So that seems pretty tit for tat. Quid pro quo, you might say.
You mean that thing you're not allowed to do as a president?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. It sounds like this word that looks illegal.
Yeah. So the report claims that the payments violated the Constitution's Foreign Emoluments Clause, a rule that bars the president and other federal officials from accepting money or gifts from foreign governments without congressional approval. I feel like that's pretty straightforward. Yes?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, if the rule literally says the president is not allowed to do these things that directly enrich him. Seems kind of straightforward.
Yep. Seems like it. Through entities he owned and controlled, President Trump accepted at minimum millions of dollars in foreign emoluments in violation of the United States Constitution. The documents obtained from the former President Trump's accounting firm demonstrate that four Trump-owned properties together collected at the least millions of dollars in payments from foreign governments and officials that violated the Constitution's prohibition on emoluments of any kind whatever from foreign governments. Yeah, so of any kind whatever would include, I will stay at your hotel.
You know the frustrating thing about this, though? I know that Trump supporters are going to look at this and they're going to say to themselves and other people, are you telling me that in America it's illegal for someone to make a little bit of money on the side? Are you serious? I thought we had freedom.
And then they will completely miss how, like, that would completely undermine their whole thing against Hunter Biden. Because, like, Hunter Biden's
a little bit of money on the side.
He's not even in office, and they're all over how he can't make money from China because that's a conflict of interest for the president.
But the president's name isn't Hunter.
Yeah. And also, the only evidence that they've come up with so far of anything that might even be considered wrongdoing, which when you take the 5 seconds to look into what it is not wrongdoing. The only evidence they've come up with is stuff that happened when Joe Biden was not in office. Like, while Trump was president. So it's like, there's nothing in the law that says you can't have Chinese businesses and then run for president later.
So they'll use that, and then they'll play the exact clip over and over of Hunter Biden walking out.
Yeah.
Like, this is what it looks like when you've enriched yourself through foreign affairs as somebody who should know better, and then, you know, we just ignore that Trump did all those things.
Yep. And that's where we're at.
God, I love America. We're so functional.
Yeah. I mean, currently functional, mostly.
I've been told if I don't like it, I can leave.
Oh, Venix Primal says, by the way, I love both your guys' content. Thank you, Venix.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, no, if people don't like it, they can't necessarily leave. Leaving the country is a big endeavor.
It requires lots of money.
Yeah. You know how, despite what Republicans will tell you about the invasion at the southern border, it's actually hard to, like, get a green card and work legally in the States if you weren't born there?
Yeah.
Like, it actually is really difficult. Other countries have similar things in place where you can't just move there and get a job. You have to, like, go through the appropriate channels and get approval and, like, residency cards, and you have to have, like, good reason for leaving.
Yeah, you have to have, like, it's one of the reasons why people use marriage often as a shortcut through that
Marriage
process.
is the easiest way to do it. Like, but, like, I can only marry one person to get them into Canada.
Well,
you're already here. Did I just propose accidentally?
You did. Congratulations. We'll get someone to officiate. It'll be fine. Actually, we know a few people who can.
I can, just not in Canada.
You can't do it for yourself. That'd be weird.
Yes, you can. Why not?
Through the power invested in me, by me, for me.
I now pronounce me.
I now pronounce me, man and wife.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you. I'm not saying that part. And Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.